Hello, organized, perfectionist, vain Virgo. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Eliane Nicole, and I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader. And although I've been reading for most of my life, I am new to YouTube as a medium to share my gift. And I'm just so overjoyed to have the opportunity to do it. So thank you for joining me. And I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you will tell friends to check out their sign. And I'm going to start out by doing a November overview for Virgo. I'm going to do some tarot cards, and I'm also going to talk about the planets a little bit. So this is the layout for Virgo for November 2018. What is in store for Virgo in November of 2018? Okay. Let's see what we have here, Virgo. Okay. So your significator is the Three of Pentacles. I'm going to say all the cards really quickly, and then I'll come back and explain them in depth. Your significator is the Three of Pentacles. You were covered by the Tower. You were crossed by the Fool. The basis of the situation is the Ten of Swords reversed. What's leaving is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. What could come into being is the Eight of Rods. What will come into being is the Four of Pentacles reversed. Fears or insecurities are the Two of Rods. Others see you as the Nine of Swords reversed. Your positive feelings are about the Seven of Pentacles. And the outcome is the Ace of Swords. So, first off the bat, what I notice about the Virgo reading is that there are two major arcana in this reading. And your two major arcana for November are the Tower and the Fool. These two cards, Virgo, are represent the overarching kind of spiritual themes of November for you. And the Tower is about a paradigm shift that's happening in your life. And the Fool is about starting new. So the beginning of a journey. So those are your big themes. Your significator, as you're entering November, early November, you seem to be working on a project. You may be collaborating on a project with other people, and that looks good. You're covered by the Tower, so it looks like there is a big paradigm shift happening in your life this month. And you're crossed by the Fool. And so the card that crosses you is what you have to work on. It's your karmic work this month, and it's what the Kabbalists call your tikkun. So the Virgo tikkun for November is the Fool. And so that embodies a lot. Yes, the Fool embodies starting on a new journey, but it's also about the ego, worrying about what others think of you. It can also mean that it's a really good time for you to be out in nature, Virgo. Take some time in nature in November. The basis of the situation is the Ten of Swords reversed. It looks like you might be getting over something, a completion in your life of some kind. It may have been a devastating completion, but now in November, you're healing. It's passing now. The worst is over. And you're getting better, even though it's still in your vibration, the pain or the residue of this of this completion in your life. What's leaving is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. It looks like you may have been spending a lot of money recently, and perhaps that phase is passing. What could come into being is the Eight of Rods. It looks like you could be traveling, or if not traveling, very, very active, a lot of activity. What will come into being is the Four of Pentacles reversed. So this is delays, uncertainty. Sometimes it signifies a big expenditure. Sometimes it can be grappling with issues of your own self-esteem and self-worth. Fears or insecurities, Virgo, they seem to be around a partnership. This could be, for some Virgos, this will be a work partnership. For some Virgos, this will be a love partnership. And for some Virgos, this may be some other random kind of partnership that's neither of those. But for Virgo in November, it looks like there may be some kind of a fear or an insecurity regarding a partnership in your life. Others see you as letting go of anxiety, becoming free of a situation that was restricting you. Others see you as, yes, coming out of a limiting and binding situation you were in. Your positive feelings about the situation, the Seven of Pentacles reversed. It seems like, well, it looks like there's a financial decision possibly that you made, and even though it cost you a lot, you feel very positive about it. And the outcome is the Ace of Swords reversed. At the end of this month, we see you looking a bit defeated. So this is after Thanksgiving, and it looks like, Virgo, I would just say, it's the Ace of Swords reversed, and swords relate to the element of air, and it has to do with the realm of thoughts and ideas and words. And if you're feeling defeated, Virgo, look to that in yourself. There may be some old idea that you need to turn around as we are heading out of November. So that's the forecast for Virgo for November in the tarot layout. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the planets. Now, I always say, if you really want a good astrological interpretation that's, I mean, an accurate, very accurate and personal to you, you should have me do your birth chart, schedule a reading with me, and we can find out where all your planets are, and then I can do very specific readings. But for the purposes of this YouTube, I'm doing general readings for the whole entire sign. And they're still good, but they're just not as specific as when you have your own chart done. And basically, here are some key points in November. November 1st and 2nd are Day of the Dead, and this is a time where it is, they say that the veil is the thinnest between physical reality and non-physical reality. And this is a time to connect with the ancestors. This is a time to connect with the dead. This is a time where it is very easy to access that. And so if you've been thinking about doing that, I encourage you to make an altar, burn some candles, put up pictures of your loved ones that have passed, to connect with them. And it can be a very special and enriching experience around this time of the year. And also November 1st, Jupiter is forming a trine with Chiron. Jupiter in Scorpio is forming a trine with Chiron in Pisces. And This is an interesting aspect. There's a lot of expansion in healing our deepest wound here. But Pisces opposes Virgo. And so for late degree Virgos, people born in, in the later degrees of Virgo, they will experience this, it could be in a tense way, although expansion is what is the byproduct. So it's all for the good, even though it may be experienced as a tense or painful experience. So Virgo, I encourage you to have your chart done so you know what degree your sun is. And let's see, what else is going on that I wanted to talk to Virgo about? So Mars is entering Pisces November 15th, and Mars in Pisces is a watery Mars, and Mars is a fire sign, and so it's not always most at home in the water signs, but it is a time where collectively we're going to be slowing down. Mars is going to be in Pisces from November 15th to December 31st. So Mars is the planet that governs our drive, our testosterone, our competitive nature, our go-get-itness. And so with Mars in creative, dreamy Pisces, the shift is going to change from traditional goals to more, creative goals, spiritual goals, emotional goals, things like that, November 15th through the end of the year. And what else? November 16th, Venus goes direct in Libra. So that's good news. Venus has been retrograde since October 5th, and Venus is going to go direct on November 16th. And so Venus retrograde manifested for different people in different ways. Again, that's where it comes in handy to have your chart done, so we can look at specifically, the house that it's in your chart and what other planets it's angling, and we can get a really clear, focused picture of exactly how the Venus retrograde would manifest in your life. But generally speaking, some of the different ways that Venus retrograde manifests, it's different for married couples than for single people. For married couples, Venus retrograde very likely could involve old issues from the past of your relationship coming up and needing to be resolved. And so when Venus goes direct, that phase will be passing and you'll be kind of getting back to normal again. For some people, for some single people who are not in relationships, Venus retrograde can really result in like extreme horniness and wanting to there can be one night stands, there can be a lot of lust and that kind of thing. Venus retrograde, it's very common for an ex to come back in, or to somehow hear something about an ex, or run into an ex, or have an ex contact you during Venus retrograde. These are all Venus retrograde kinds of things. So Venus is going direct, all of that kind of romance stuff will start normalizing, going back to the way it was. And let's see, what else? Oh, Mercury. Mercury is going retrograde. The last Mercury retrograde of the year is coming in fiery Sagittarius. And again, I encourage you to have your chart done with me, because when I've done your natal chart, I can actually see what house Mercury will be traveling in for you, and it's helpful because then you can brace yourself for the technological difficulties or the communication breakdowns or the accidents or all those kind of mercurial kind of trickster things that can happen during a retrograde. So he's coming November 16th. He's going retrograde The pre-shadow started yesterday. So basically anything, the pre-shadow started October 28th. So basically anything from October 28th, any initiatives beginning on October 28th through November 16th may come up for review when Mercury goes direct. So the other thing to think about, there's a Neptune aspect on November 20th. It's involving the North Node in Cancer. It's Neptune and Pisces involving the North Node in Cancer. For mid-degree Virgos, this could be a very impactful aspect. So call me to have your chart done, and we can talk about this transit if you like in further detail, but I'm going to keep going. November 22nd, the Sun enters fiery Sagittarius. And November 23rd is the full moon in Gemini. And the full moon in Gemini actually squares Virgo. And so this is, you know, the full moon, it's not Virgo's favorite full moon of the year. It can be a tense full moon because energetically there could be some tension there. This is particularly going to apply to early degree Virgos, though, in terms of that kind of relationship with the Gemini full moon. It'll be less pronounced for mid-degree and later degree Virgos. But the Gemini full moon is a time, Gemini rules the nervous system. So it can be time where you're feeling higher anxiety. It can be a time, Gemini likes to talk. Gemini is about telling stories and words. So Gemini full moon, in general, people are being more expressive with their emotions and wanting to talk about their emotions more. It's more of a heady moon than an emotional moon. Even though the moon rules our emotional landscape, the Gemini moon is a very airy moon. So it's more of like an intellectual, you know, mind moon. So there's a lot of, you know, I guess thinking about our feelings and talking about our feelings with the Gemini full moon. Oh, and I skipped the new moon in Scorpio is November 7th, and that's obviously before the full moon. And the new moon in Scorpio is, well, Scorpio is it's a complementary element with Virgo. I just got distracted for a second, I'm sorry. It's sextiles, Virgo actually. So the Scorpio full moon, the Scorpio new moon, excuse me, it's a very deep, profound new moon. And new moons in general are always a good time to begin things. It's always a very powerful time to plant the seeds of what we want to manifest. Just as, you know, on planet Earth, there are beneficial times to plant seeds for crops to grow or for flowers or trees to grow. There are beneficial times to plant spiritual seeds for the things that we want to manifest in our life. And the new moons are those times. And each new moon has different characteristics. And the Scorpio new moon is very much about planting the seeds, setting intentions for where we need more power in our lives. Where are we feeling powerless? The Scorpio new moon is also about planting seeds for where we want to reinvent ourselves, where we need to regenerate in our lives, where we need a rebirth, where do we need a transformation. These are all Scorpio themes. If there's anything, you know, if you're someone who's involved in any kind of research or research project, Scorpio new moon is a great time to set intentions around that. Scorpio, oh, and also, again, this is another time of the month. You know, November is a very significant time of the year when it comes to communicating with the other side and channeling loved ones who have passed to the other side. And so the new moon of Scorpio is also a particularly potent time for being able to access the ancestors, access the other side. It's a great time for a reading. It's a great time to try and channel. It's a great time to set up an altar and burn candles and very clearly and specifically write down your intentions. I do an altar every new moon. I am able to do intentions for a handful of clients on my altars each new moon, but it's first come, first serve. So I can't, you know, let me know if you're interested. Yeah, those are really the big key points. And then November 24th, Neptune goes direct in Pisces, and this is going to be this is going to have a strong effect on mid-degree Virgos. And if you want to know more about that, I encourage you to reach out to me and get a private reading for your specific chart. I have gone 21 minutes. How did I do this? This is the longest one that I've recorded yet. Thank you for sticking with me through this, Virgo. I hope that you will subscribe, like, please tell your friends to watch, and please come back. I'm going to continue to post overviews every month for all of the signs, and I will also be doing more specific posts throughout the month about the moons and any specific planetary alignments that are notable as they come along. So thanks again for joining me. I love being able to share my gift with you, and come